Hi guys, my name's Shiels down here at Hart Common Golf Club today, which is a golf course, great practice facilities. I'm going to be doing some testing today of the new Titleist 816H hybrids. So there's the H1 and the H2. Now, don't get too excited because they've brought hybrids out. They're actually not bringing out 3-woods and drivers yet. These are to complement the irons that they've just brought out, the CBs, AP1s, MBs and AP2s. Because they're saying hybrids should be matched up with the irons, not so much the woods, which makes perfect sense. Because when you're looking at getting hybrids, you're not looking at from a 3-wood to a hybrid, you're looking from your last irons, that might be a 4-iron, 5-iron, whatever that may be, moving into hybrids. That's why they're bringing them out with the hybrids, with the irons. There's a H1 and the H2, so whip the head covers off. H1 is the bigger headed, more forgiving. I would expect higher ball flight, which we're going to see in a minute. We've got centre of gravity further back, much more inviting to hit. Now, both of them have got grey, light grey heads, black faces, white grooves. With the H2, the smaller headed version, it is much more squashed in, more traditional looking hybrid. And that's for it's probably slightly lower ball flight. And again, we're going to see it on GC2. I've got them both in 19 degrees. You can change the lofts. So you can change the lofts. They've got the, the Titleist fitting section to the hosel. Both got the big face channel underneath behind the face to maximise ball speed across the face, which was massively successful in last model's drivers and hybrids and fairway woods. I think they look really smart. I think with the grey, the light grey, the black face, white grooves, I think it gives it a really good finish. H1, which I'm going to hit first, is not a million miles away from a fairway wood look. It is big. It's got a big chunky head to it. Very inviting to hit, I must admit, but it has got quite a long way back to the face. Now, whether because that's in the light grey finish, it looks even bigger, as the lighter colour you'd expect it to maybe look bigger. Obviously that's the design as well. Compared to the H2, it seems like a beast. It's been on an unhealthy diet. So I'm on a real hole here. This is one of the practice holes here at Hart Common, so it's going to give me a nice concept of where I'm actually hitting these shots to. 19 degrees, let's give this a hit. Like I said, I've got it on the GC2. I think that head looks great. Oh, that is a beautiful flight. It is like I say, I carry a 19 degree hybrid, and I would say that was a much higher ball flight. Very good hit, 225 yards of carry. The flight's actually not picked up on GC2, but all the data has. So I put a simulation to what that flight actually did. That was lovely. So like I say, this is the H1 first. I'll hit 3 or 4 of these, and then move into the H2, sorry. A little bit more ground contact when I made the hit there, so I don't reckon that's probably carried as far. No, that was a bad hit. That was a bad hit. I took a little bit too much turf there. So again, it's giving that idea of how it performs on off-centered hits. That was a little bit too much surface, I'm afraid. Let's hit a few more. I love that feel off the head. The first one on that one, it just, like I say, because it's that size of head, it is super inviting to hit. So the first one carried 225, that one carried 233. I'm going to obviously keep that second one in, but I'm going to discard it for the averages because it's a bit unfair. I've literally taken half the earth out with it. I'm struggling finding space for GC2 now. But the flight, when hit well, is that big, towering, high ball flight. It'll be interesting to see if that does differ with the H2, the smaller headed version. I've got both of these in the Aldila Extra Stiff Flex, so exactly the same flex of shafts. Let's go one more with the H1. So much hang time. Seems to be up there forever. So, for testing's sake, you saw what happened on that second one, But for the averages, I'm going to take it out because I think it's, obviously I've took half of the surface with me there. Give you a bit of an idea of carry distances, 229 on average after taking that second terrible golf shot out. Height is something I'm interested in. Now, again, the first one didn't pick up the flight, so I'm going to use the last two as a height reference. 38 yards up in the air, height. 13.2 degrees launch, so remember those numbers because I'm going to now test that up against the H1. I would presume the H1 are going to offer slightly lower numbers, lower height numbers definitely, but just because that's smaller head, we would expect a slightly lower spin rate, which that spin rate was 4,000. I would expect with this H2 now to be a little bit lower than that. So for my eye, this looks a lot more appealing as an actual hybrid. I could imagine that H1 will be incredibly successful in really high lofted numbers. So almost bringing back the days of the 7 wood and the 9 wood. Get that in a 25 degree. I'm not quite sure what that actually goes up to, but get it in a 25 degree, 26 degree. It's a great 5-iron replacement or even 6-iron replacement. So H2, much smaller head from the above and obviously from below. Still got that big slit, and that slit under the face looks a lot deeper than in the previous models. I will be testing this up against the 814s, were they called? Can't remember what they were called, last models now. The last hybrids anyway. Were they not 9s? 914s. Anyway, let's give, or 915s. Let's give this one a hit. 816 H2. So let's see if this offers a slightly different flight perspective. Same loft. Oh yeah. Oh, yes. That was nice. That was nice. It's carried further. Peak height is a fraction lower, which I expect it to be. Spin rate is similar, but for me that ball flight was much more forward as opposed to up. It stayed hit. That was a really, really solid flight. A tiny bit extra yardage, only a little bit. I love that flight a lot. That was great. Oh yeah, that's a much lower ball flight than the H1, which I really did presume it would have been, just because of the difference in the size of the head. That is a beautiful club. I would say the H1 is a great hybrid for super height, replacing 4 irons, even 5 irons. I would say this is more a true hybrid, the H2. That was a lovely flight. And it feels so good. It does feel exceptionally good. All good carry distances there, 235 to 236. Every shot actually. Let's hit one more with the H2. I like this one a lot. I'd say it probably more suits my game, this one. I would say, let's say if we get Rob, my mid-handicapper, he may suit that one more. Bigger head, much easier to launch. Still offers good numbers, but much more height. And the height difference was really notable. I'll try and show you on the GC2 as well. Let's go one more with this one. I love that. I love that club. That is sensational. Those last 3 or 4 with the H2 were sensational. I really like those a lot. Right, let's try and throw in some numbers now so we can make some comparisons. So, just for argument's sake, because the first one didn't pick up the actual flight, even though it picked up the distance, and the second one of the H1, I hit dreadful. Let's just disregard those two, and let's just take, to make it fair, test. Let's take 2 of the H2 out. So I've just taken 2 random ones of the H2 out. Right. Let's have a look how these compare. So H1, on average, was carrying 232 yards. Had 38 yards of peak height, launching at 13.2 degrees. Now, bearing in mind this is a 19-degree club, you'll see this in a minute with the other one, and we're spinning at 4,000, pretty much dead. Okay, so remember those numbers. If I would go now, well, keep them on screen. If I just pick up 2 random ones from the H2. So to make it fair, 2 shots with each, 2 similar shots, very similar shots. Carry distance was a tiny bit further at 236 carry. Height was 6 yards lower, and it was really noticeable, the flight as well, difference. 6 yards lower, and I'll show you the images up on screen there as well. Spin rate was a fraction more, a couple of hundred RPM less on average. Yeah, very good. I think they've made 2 golf clubs that are going to suit loads of different types of golfers. Loads of different types. H1 for your maybe slightly higher handicapper, or a golfer who wants a lot of height with their long approach shots. So even that might not always be necessarily high handicappers, that might be low handicappers who generally hit long clubs into long holes. You might want a club that's going to land soft. You may not play in windy conditions, and you won't want, let's say in the States, in America, that would be fantastic, the H1. Launching it up to space, dropping it in down, it would sit on greens really quickly. The H2, on the flip side, I think looks more like a classic shaped hybrid, much smaller in the shape, where the H1 is more fairway based. This is a much lower penetrating ball flight. For me, this is a club that would hit me into par 5s for my kind of standard. Safe shots off tees, and it's still carrying, you know, great distances. And it looks a little bit more squashed in as versatile. I feel like I've got a bit more leeway of maybe hitting out the rough as well. You could hit both out the rough because that's just going to launch out there. Titleist, you've made 2 fantastic woods with the H1 and the H2. Hopefully I gave you those comparisons there. I know I hit that second shot a bit terrible, but I'm trying to give the numbers that are real life data numbers. I'm hitting golf balls here, real life, on the grass, everything that I can do to make it real life. Guys, there's a new method of testing that's going to be coming out very soon to my channel. Stay tuned. As always, do subscribe, comment down below, let us know what you think about the new H1 and H2 models, and hopefully you've seen all the iron reviews as well. And don't forget what Titleist is saying there, you know, choose your hybrids to match your irons, and that's a great, if you were stuck with that, I don't think you'd go far wrong. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you all soon.